Tune out your favorite news personality cat and tune into my
Initial thoughts. Part one. Initial thoughts. Part one. Initial thoughts.
It's Thursday, so we must be talking about Trek again. This time about Season 2, Episode 2 of Picard, Penance. We'll be talking about a Borg Collective worth of spoilers if you'd like to shift into another reality. Before we get into that, I'd like to make a couple of corrections to last week's review. I had said Zhaban's name as Yavere because I thought that's what Picard said in the episode. I would also like to thank one of my regular viewers and commenters for pointing out that Raffi did in fact receive a promotion. The one scene in Season 1 where you can see her rank, the camera angle generally obscures the hollow pip. I also can't believe I missed the smashed Pa-Wraith tablet in Picard's collection. I've been curious about this since they showed it in the first teaser trailer. As for today's episode, it absolutely is the best bit of new Trek to date, and I think we'll end up in one of the top 100 slots in my series ranking every episode of Trek, when it comes time to add the current shows. The opening pre-credit intro is likely the best intro in all Trek history. It really amps you up for what's to come. I've got the first like for Q's masterful narration, including almost 2 previous episode titles. Yesterday's Enterprise and Through a Mirror Darkly. The first of which is a very close analogy to the universe they find themselves in now. The latter isn't an exact episode match, but it comes close to In a Mirror Darkly from Enterprise. I have another like for General Picard's trophy room. So much Trek lore in this room. As far as weapons I can make out, we've got a Romulan, Klingon, and Shellyak of all races disruptors. There's a Jatvash dagger and disruptor from Season 1 of the series. There's a TOS-era phaser and Bajoran and Cardassian phase pistols. There's a Cardassian military uniform, and I'm not 100% sure, but what looks like Klingon armor, or possibly Hirogen. Then there's the awesome reveals about the skulls on display, which includes skulls of Sarek, General Martok, and Gul Dukat with a bullet right through his spoon. Even though it's Picard's trophy, I have to wonder if Sisko did it in this universe also, since a General Sisko is name-dropped by Seven later in the episode. Though it's not necessarily Ben. For all we know, it could be General Jake Sisko. The first half of this episode is one giant lore dump, but it doesn't feel like artificial or contrived fan service. It's just really nice tie-ins in an alternate universe. I've got a like for Q smacking Picard for whining about Q saving his life for the second time. He really had that coming. There's this one line that will likely become more clear as the season goes on, but Picard asks Q what he needs forgiveness for, and Q just says that Jean-Luc knows. We are well set up for an epic season, and we haven't even made it out of the intro of Episode 2 yet. We're introduced to this alternate federation as the Confederation, where Picard's great command in this universe was the CSS World Raiser. Before Q disappears to leave Jean-Luc to his own devices, somehow Picard knows that Q is ill, perhaps mentally. I've got a like for the alternate to boldly go narration as Picard watches past speeches of his alternate self. I think his A500 synth mixed up his drink order with Janeway when he's brought coffee, black. I've got another like for one single line where Picard says, "the circle that Dante overlooked," referring to Dante's Inferno traveling the many layers of hell, which our heroes have definitely found themselves in. I'm kind of surprised to still see solar panels covering the Golden Gate Bridge in this reality, since it's said twice in the episode that Earth is polluted and barely hanging on as a planet. We then skip over to Seven, or in this reality, Annika, waking up confused with no Borg implants. Turns out she's the president of the Confederation, and today ain't no Federation Day. It's Eradication Day, where they kill all their dissidents and alien sympathizers. You know, like Russia. Right now. Every day, President Annika uses her authority to contact Colonel Rios, who's just as confused when he's dropped back into La Serena in a battle for Vulcan. She calls him back to Earth to figure out what's going on. Elnor is dropped into a city being taken over by dissidents and is only spared execution because Raffi's dropped into the role of the leader of some kind of death squad in the area. I find it a bit awkward that she has to save a Romulan warrior nun, but it sets up her taking him to HQ, where Picard and Seven are already positioned. I've got a like for Girardi's personal assistant AI cat she developed, who sounds vaguely like Patton Oswalt. In this universe, she's also a cyberneticist, but her project is a little bigger in scale, learning what she can about the Borg Queen before she's to become the crown jewel of executions this eradication day. After we bring all the main characters together, they work out that this isn't necessarily an alternate universe, but their own after Q or someone changed the past in 2024. We get a nice callback to the multiple times Kirk used the slingshot around the sun method to time travel. Here's where I've got a dislike. They claim that it only succeeded because they had Spock to do the calculations, and only the Borg Queen might be able to do those same calculations safely. I get it. This is the justification for why this time travel method wasn't seen again. But there's no way there aren't other people in the galaxy smarter than Spock that could do this, other than taking the Borg Queen with them. Ought to make for some interesting adventures this season teaming up with the Queen, though. As Picard and Seven try to pacify a literal bloodthirsty crowd at the Eradication Day ceremony, the other members of the main cast take down the security shield so Rios can beam them and the Queen out before they're all killed for treason. Elnor finally goes all badass in the end, but I've got a dislike for Rios and Girardi fighting in the middle of crunch time. Feels like padding on the runtime. If they wanted to do that, just show me even more of Picard's trophy room. Girardi has a staring contest with the Borg Queen as she hooks her up to La Sirena to do time maneuvers. Just when you think they're going to get out of here and back to almost present day, Confederation security beam up, shoot Elnor, leaving him in really bad shape, and it looks like they're about to kill Picard for the 5th time. The old adage about ending and always leaving them wanting more is very true here. We're left on a tense cliffhanger, which I honestly feel more tense about than the summer in between Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and 2. The writers are really making up lost ground for the mediocre season with the bad ending that was Season 1 of this series. I'm still seeing a lot of negativity about this show in reviews and from supposed fans. But honestly, if you don't like this, you're probably living on pure nostalgia and nothing will ever please you going forward. Going into this, I wasn't sure if I was going to like a whole season about alternate universes and time travel. But it's shaping up better than any season of Trek ever after just 2 episodes. Don't forget to check out my disco review on Species 10C this week. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Dustin Wing.